Let's go. Well, I can see off to the left there are 10 aeroplanes approaching, and we're going to be seeing them any time now. At this distance, it's actually quite difficult to see anything other than Vulcans, but I can assure you, and if you're way down the left-hand end, you will know that she is there. She is approaching with her Praetorian guards. 10 little red escorts in front of her. This is the kind of sight that you will never, ever see again. So, welcome to the last flying season of this British aeroplane that represents the very best imaginative thinking out of the box virtues of aeronautical design and engineering. Here she is, Avro Vulcan XH558 and the Red Arrows.
Not much seeing room.
Vulcan drops away out of the formation. I think you will agree that that is as near perfect formation as you could expect to see. So our thanks to the Red Arrows for that. Back in from the left now, flown by Captain Kev Brumans, co-captain Martin Withers. Now, Martin Withers is the man who took Vulcan into operational flying in 1982. He flew her down to the Falkland Islands and dropped 21 1,000-pound bombs on the Port Stanley runway. She's starting to accelerate from the left. Those engines and the fact that she's 10 tons lighter than she used to be when she was in RAF service. You can't have the engines at full chat for very long, you'll exceed all the speed limits. So you have to take the throttles off again, and you then get the demonstration of how she can whisper round the place. It's an amazing airframe, this. It's very slippery, not much drag. She just glides along and can do it very quietly when she wants to. So, 21 bombs, 21 1,000-pound bombs, not far short of 10 tons. That's what you had to do with wartime non-guided weapons, dumb bombs as they're referred to. And you can see how stealthy she is. She creeps up on you and she has that slim look coming towards you. But I guess that would have got your attention. That is, as I was saying, the sound of those four Bristol Olympus 202 engines, about 16,500 pounds of static thrust from each of them, 65,000 pounds in total, give or take. So the wheels are down. Obviously she's not going to land here, but we see her coming by with the gear down, all 18 wheels, 16 wheels on the main undercarriage and 2 on the nose wheel. And as she comes abeam the centre point of the display, I'll expect to see them retracting the undercarriage back into their bays. That raid on the Falkland Islands was 7,760 miles round trip, the longest bombing raid in history at the time, and it involved 11 Victors refueling, and 18 air-to-air refuelings had to take place to enable this aircraft to get from Ascension down to the Falkland Islands and back again. It was a very close thing. Vulcan was immensely popular when she was in RAF service. This particular aeroplane was kept on long after the other operational aircraft had ceased flying as part of the Vulcan display flight. The Air Force finally got rid of her in 1993, her last display season 1992. And she was bought by David Vulcan, and he and Dr. Robert Fleming are the men who really caused this aeroplane to be back with us today. Bombay doors coming open as she goes by now. That is the size of the Bombay. That is the heart of the bomber. That's the Bombay that carried those 21 1,000-pound bombs. As I said, not far short of 10 tons. So David Walton and Robert Fleming decided that we ought to have a Vulcan fly again. Everybody said it couldn't be done, and it very nearly couldn't. On many occasions, it nearly failed. But with the help of the Heritage Lottery Fund and money from industry and money from you, that was the important thing. She finally got airborne again in 2007. It was an extraordinary moment, and it had cost about 7 million quid so far to get her airborne again the second time. As she comes back in front of us this time, you'll see the Bombay doors closing. That Bombay these days full of the names of people who've contributed to this aircraft continuing to fly. So to get her to the stage at which we see her today has cost roughly 23 million quid. That is extraordinary. And not only has it... Shut up. Not only has it been an amazing engineering project to get this aeroplane back in the air, it's also been an amazing fundraising project. She still costs £2 million a year to run. That's £38,500 a week, give or take. So, altogether, the Vulcan to the Sky Trust has done some absolutely amazing things. I was talking about the engineering. Somebody who isn't on board is Taff Stone, the crew chief and the chief engineer. He always says, 558 is my baby. I always refer to the aeroplane as she. People tell me I shouldn't, but Taff says she's high maintenance. That amazing design from Roy Chadwick. It's a bomber, but it flies like a fighter. And indeed, all Vulcans have, instead of the usual control yoke that you have in a big bomber in front of the pilots, you have fighter-type control columns. And you can see from the agility that we saw just there that that's really the result of some absolutely amazing aeronautical design. So this is her last flying season. She has about 4 more displays to do, and then 2 big tours of the country. Why? Well, 3 technical authority companies have decided that they can't support Vulcan anymore. That's BAE Systems, Rolls-Royce, and Marshall Aerospace. And without their support and their signatures, she loses her civil permit to fly. So she will become illegal at the end of this season. This is her final pass. Time to wave goodbye. So, what's next? Well, the Vulcan team and the Aviation Skills Partnership are going to create a new life for her as the dynamic centrepiece of the Etna project at Robin Hood Airport, Doncaster, Sheffield. It will be an aviation academy and a heritage skills centre. It will showcase technological achievements and advancements. It's called the Etna Project because Mount Etna was the workshop of the god Vulcan. The Etna Project will be like the Eden Project, but for engineers. And as she goes away,